All right, well, let's get our budget review meeting to order here on, what day is that? Wednesday, March 16th. So we're going to start with, we'll bring Patty in and start our, get right into it. Everybody ready? We're going to start with the cemetery committee. So Patty, whenever you're ready, we'll let you come on in and fill us in.
I'm here. It's pretty much same thing as previous years. We took a guess because the mowing contract runs on the calendar year rather than the fiscal year. And so we just guessed at an increase for the 2 months that will be part of the fiscal year budget that are not covered in the current contract. Other than that, I think it's fairly self-explanatory, and we'll answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Patty? Anybody?
Nope, I'll move the request of $44,508.
Okay, yep. I'll second that. We'll get you a copy. Yeah. Any discussion? I'd just like to say on, go ahead, Patty.
That includes the capital. Do you want to do that as an aggregate?
Sure. That is in there, isn't it?
The 11,765.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to do the operating separate from the capital. That's just a procedural question.
Well, I'll make it including, including my cemetery capital request.
Yeah.
Totaling, the total is 44 or is it 33? So I'd say it's 44.
That's the total with the capital,
capital.
right? 44,508.
I'd assume so.
The capital is an additional 23,000. Yeah, 23,500.
So,
Patty's referring to the capital reserves. Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
There's a line item down here. It says cemetery capital.
11,765.
I'm confused.
So
Okay, let's see.
Right, yeah. So in the budget book, there's a line item for cemetery capital at 11,765, but in the capital handout, we have 23,500.
That's the,
But is that something different, Matt? What are we looking at?
that's cemetery capital. I'm not sure how we name the accounts. Cheryl would need to answer that, but that includes all of the above items on that page. That's the total.
okay, yes, I get you.
Yeah.
So the 44,508 is just the operating then. That's my confusion. I apologize.
That's all right.
Yeah, capital
yeah.
includes the surveying, the stone repair. Well, those aren't there in there this year, but the tree assessment, the FICA, Medicare,
Yep,
and
okay.
administrative clerk.
Yeah, there's through a software, it said capital on
It's,
there.
I don't know
Yeah.
why it says
Yeah,
capital.
okay. So
Cheryl will
Josh-
have to answer that.
Uh,
but that's-
Josh made a motion on the 44,508. I've seconded it. Discussion. I was just gonna make a comment, Patty and her crew, what a good job they do, and Matt's involved in that too, and it's, we're still fascinated by the history and whatnot she digs up, so it's pretty fascinating. We get a chance to talk to her, so, all those in favor? Right, passes, yep.
And then if you want to do the capital for the
Yep.
cemetery at the same time.
And I'll make a motion to approve, I think it's 23,500 for the cemetery capital reserve fund.
The 23,500. Yeah. I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor? We lost Lou here for a minute with the
Oh, we got a majority vote.
motion carries. Yeah, he's coming right back in. Missed his budget book, so. Patty, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
All right, and let's skip over LCTV.
Yeah, what do we need? They're here for the duration.
All right. What page are we on LCTV? That is.
That's under the
Community betterment, right?
betterment.
Page 50.
Yeah.
50. All right. Let's give Lou a minute here. He's coming right back in with his budget book. Just left it outside, so, yeah. Find it, Lou, or you need a copy?
She said there was some.
What are you looking for? Oh, the
I didn't
budget?
realize, yeah,
Oh,
you just need a budget book. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, can you bring the other one over?
Oh, you need to? Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
forgot mine.
yeah. Oh, you got it, man? Yeah. That's right. Yesterday was me with leaving the wrong vehicle, so.
Too many meetings ago. Thanks a lot.
Okay. All right. Hand it down to copy, so, all right. Everybody got their budget books? We're good? You got page 50? All right. You want to start, Larry? Yeah. I figured there's a microphone there. You're just itching to use it.
Oh, yeah. Frazier goes in for the score.
Jeez, yeah, he's just drooling over that microphone.
Cemetery pass,
Oh.
capital
All
reserve.
right.
Okay, where do you want me to start? I gave you guys a front page there. We combined Waldeboro and Damascotta together. I'm going, this is just a practice run for Waldeboro tomorrow night. Is that okay?
Go ahead, Larry, sorry.
This is just a practice run for Waldeboro tomorrow.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you're getting, I'm working the nerves off, you know?
Gotcha.
But anyway, thanks to Claire, my marketing gal behind me here, and she put together all the numbers, analytics for what LCTV has done in the community this year. As you can see, the Lincoln Academy, all the views, we had 10,000 views for the basketball games, the shows we've produced, the partnerships we've been doing, the work we've been doing with the hospital and the YMCA, and of course the town. You people are well aware of that. On the back page is all the funding from all the different towns, kind of give everybody a little insight to what we're doing, what we're asking for, and trying to build the budget back up for LCTV to support what we're doing.
How much has it grown over the last few years with you guys? I mean, it looks like you've got a lot of involvement. I mean, how anecdotally, how much have you seen it?
It's about 75% more than what it was when we started.
Is it that much really? Yeah. That's a relatively short time. I mean,
2 years and
years, right?
4 months.
Yeah.
The biggest thing probably is, well, I don't know if you can put it on one specific things, but the town meetings that we've done, all the selectmen's meetings that we do for all the towns has been a biggie. Of course, the high school sports program, getting that back up. Lincoln Academy had always taped their games and tape delayed them. Madomic hasn't done anything for their schools for a while.
Yeah.
We weren't doing anything. There was no production work to speak of going on 2 years ago when we took
Gotcha.
over. But
Yeah.
there wasn't any money to do any production work with either. So, and the equipment we've replaced 75% of the equipment in there. I would say a rough guesstimate between computers and cameras and all the accessories that go with the cameras. And we're
Updated equipment and
we're looking at facing some kind of a heating situation in the building for next year. Some kind of I don't know. We've got electric heat in there right now, and with the cost of electricity, it's doubled. Although I guess the cost of oil is doubled too. So
yeah, get away from it.
it's going to be hard to figure that out, but there's got to be some kind of alternative we can do better for heat in there. But we had things going in the right direction until just recently, as far as the overall capital expenses.
Yeah.
So we're looking at grants right now to replace our servers that are old, and I won't say they're on their last legs, but they have a life cycle of 5 to 7 years. We're on the 8th year now, so we're looking at replacing those. We're looking to write a grant, or we are writing a grant, the process of writing a grant. We've got 4 or 5 new board members that have come on that are really enthusiastic and excited about that and engaged. And then I think the biggest thing is Jeff being the tech guy. We now have a tech guy that takes care of this system and makes sure it runs smoothly, and Claire with the marketing. And of course, we have the 2 videographers, Jeff, Tyler and Dave. So, yeah, and we're looking to do more all the time. So,
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. Any questions for LCTV? Mark, do you have any questions? Oh, yeah, muted.
you're muted, Matt.
Trying to get in there. Mark, you muted still. Oh.
It's not.
He's trying to. I think he was trying to say something. I just didn't want to leave him. Yeah.
We got a sign we can hold up.
I don't know.
I just asked him that.
Yeah.
No, I can only ask him that.
Yeah.
Very big yellow sign that says.
We're doing the wave at him, so.
Yeah, there you go, Cheryl. The old fashioned way. We can't hear you.
Well. He's not looking too frantic over there, so,
No, it's not.
yeah, so
It's not
we'll,
waving.
well, he's not waving, so we'll try to get him in. Oh,
There it goes.
Can you hear me now?
there, we can hear you now, Mark.
My question is, how much do we take in franchise fees?
Franchise fees?
Yep.
Satellite.
Got that answer right here.
You getting it?
24,000. That's what we estimate for the coming year.
Estimate 24. Yeah.
Last year, we had 22,983.
Did you get that, Mark?
No, how much was it?
It's, we budgeted 24,000 for 2023. And last year, we took in 22,983.
Okay, thanks.
All right. What's that? Let's see. I'll make a motion to move the 17.5 for LCTV.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm abstaining.
You abstaining? Yeah, you're gonna abstain. Yeah.
And
Can
Mark vote?
you vote on? I can't remember how that works. Can you
Yeah.
Yeah,
vote?
he can vote.
You can
You can
vote
vote, yeah.
remotely, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, did you vote? Yeah or nay? Okay.
I'll vote. That's good.
4 and 1 abstain.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget he can vote remotely. This is all very new. All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
You're good. That was-
Thank you for the support
that was
and
too hard,
work.
so,
And
yeah.
Clear.
Yeah. thank you.
next question, do I have to come back to the selectmen's meeting too?
Do we have any?
No, you don't have anything.
No, good.
No.
Cheryl.
I mean, you,
Budget committee, you're gonna come back.
Budget
I thought
committee
this
on
was-
Monday.
this-
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, this is
Yeah.
selectmen budget.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the budget committee budget.
you're more than welcome to come back and hang out for the meeting. It's
no,
gonna be
I'm all
riveting.
good. I can get it. I got a camera. I mean, a tech guy that can fill me in the morning.
All right. And we're right in community betterment still on the library, Matt, right? Do we have anybody from the library?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Matthew, I think we had a little later, didn't we?
You had time-wise on here, let's see,
420.
library at 4:20.
Oh,
so
420,
5
okay.
minutes, Yeah,
I don't see him. We should just go to you.
we can, yeah, we can just use right here. So let's come on up, you. Let's get you highway department. So we're on page 23.
So the note says capital reserves should be discussed under each department review.
Yeah. So we've got the cemetery one we did,
Yeah.
and then LCTV didn't have any. Library, then we'll have Public Works will, and then the rest of them they should, except for CLC, right? So, yeah, all right, everybody, highway department ready? Mark, you all set?
I'm all set.
All right. I don't know.
A little tired.
Right.
The big change here is,
Yeah.
is the part-time seasonal that we're requesting be brought up to a full-time benefited position. And we've actually had an interview with, and Lou was sitting in on this. We had an interview with a candidate for that position. Seemed like an excellent candidate, and
Yeah.
he's willing to wait till
Doing the
June
work
to
and
start. Yeah.
How to do the work.
Okay, that's good.
He's been
Yeah.
working in other areas doing similar work.
Mhm.
And do we bring up now about the trash,
The what?
the trash collection?
Well, that's in here. Yeah. So ask. Yeah.
Yeah, because he said that he didn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
So we were thinking of
Oh, reducing that.
reducing that.
Okay. What is that? Which line item is that on?
Was it in the highway or?
I think it's gonna be under contract.
Contracted services.
Yeah. Cleaning.
General contractor downtown.
He still expressed the willingness to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody find it yet?
Where do we have?
Just in there
Trash.
somewhere.
Is it 9123, page 27? On general contractor, is that part of it?
9123. You've got, yeah,
9123, general contractor, it says contracted
Um,
services.
you got lease,
So I don't know if it's
snow
in
dump,
there.
welding.
Nope.
It's this one here, for new compliance.
I don't know that we broke that out separately
I thought. we
Doesn't-
because
did.
it was just,
Doesn't look it.
I didn't see it, yeah.
66 something.
it was a situation where we didn't have that extra person filled, that extra position filled, so we needed to contract that out.
Yeah, yeah.
So how
It
much
wasn't a heck
money
of a
is
lot,
that?
was it? What was
a
it?
year?
$6,600.
For the trash pickup,
And the cleaning.
pretty minimal. What is it?
It was, what,
500 a month?
500 a month,
Month,
but
summer. I think you guys on the right.
July is more because she was collecting more, so that was like 700. And then in October, it was like another 700.
Yeah, okay.
So
It's not a huge.
We did
yeah.
get a really good price on that.
Well, I guess the only thing I have a problem with maybe is we leave it in there. Because it's a minimal
Yeah.
amount. Say this person doesn't work out, let's just leave it in there and cover ourselves.
It's, I was saying the same thing. It's a small amount and that way, yeah.
If
you
it was
run
like
into- you need a seasonal worker
20,800
to
or
do
something.
something.
where is it
buried? It should be in general contracting. So it looks like we were trying to, Gerald's going back and
Yeah.
then we had a 2021 actual and then we moved the budget up and it's should be in there. But it's what we think, like $600-700 maybe a year.
Yeah, I thought it was 6,600. No,
Because it was a pretty good deal, really. I mean,
Yeah, it was a good deal. It was like
Yeah.
$150 a week or something. Was it?
yeah, for seasonal, yeah, it was actually pretty good. So
So I just prefer to leave it in there.
I wouldn't reduce it out of there for that minimal amount, but if it was as much as, yeah, if it was up in those thousands, it would make sense, wouldn't it? But, yeah. So, okay. Well, that's good news on the seasonal help. If we've got somebody that's looking good for that.
I'd like to discuss the ADA compliance. It's in here for $5,200.
Yeah.
Cost, the cost to put one plate in has gone over $800 this year. And so that's only a 2x2 plate. That's half of a location. And that's the small locations.
Yeah. That cost of steel. The steel.
So I think the cost now is to the point where you could buy your own go behind concrete mixer. And the plates are only $130 a piece, plus the concrete, which it's a special concrete, but it doesn't cost that much more. And you could do more plates. And this line item could get cut down a couple grand.
So you want, just on the 5,200 you had budgeted for last year, we haven't, well, this
We
current,
haven't- we
this
haven't-
current year.
We haven't spent any of it because when it came in, I told Matt and Matt said it was, it was too much. So I agreed with him. If we're at the tipping point where we can buy our own concrete mixer. They're anywhere from $3,600 to $4,000.
How much
And we-
does it cost to rent one for?
That's the problem, is trying to find them to rent, and there's more you can do with it. It's just not this. You can do around your framing grates. any place that's, where there's a valve box up or something like that, where plows are hitting it, we cut around that, put concrete in and make it so they have to hump over that. So there's other uses besides.
Have you rented before?
No, I have not rented before. But
I-
most of the rentals are mortar mixers. That's, so I was looking for a used one. I thought if I could find a used one for $500, I'd buy it, fix it up.
Yeah, and how many plates total that do we have in town?
Oh, we haven't even begun to start fixing these things.
So you don't have an inventory number?
No. No, the bricks are all worn out, and that's what we have been working on is the bricks downtown, and they're not done yet. But now Church Street area is falling all apart. So
So I guess on my end would be to do an inventory on replacement, at least how many we have currently, and then what needs to be replaced. And do
I
we
had
take,
originally
do we
tried
take
to do
money?
about 8 a year,
Yeah, do we take
and it's
money out
down
of the,
to less than
reserve?
4. Because it's $800 a plate, so you can only do about 4.
yeah, so if it's bad and it's an ADA compliance issue, then we need to figure out
So I think we could do more for less.
whether or not we need to take some money out of a different type of reserve account to get this taken care of.
But we have an equipment account, correct?
Yeah, we do.
And
Yep,
so
we'll be
so
getting to
we
that
could
shortly,
purchase a
yeah.
concrete mixer.
So that's just one of my
But I
things.
just want
How
to,
many?
I wanted
how
to
many
let you
need to be
know
done?
that this is a possibility to reduce that line item to the cost of materials.
So those funds that were allocated haven't been used
No,
at all right now, that 5,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a note in there about a mixer. Where did I see that?
I was going to have him explain that. Hugh, would you explain what an ADA ramp is? What's the difference between what we used to do and what we're doing now, what we have to do by ADA?
but when the town was originally done, they used this brick that has these little knobs on it. But the snow blower and time wears them out. So they're all flat, so they can't feel them. Whereas the steel 2x2 plate, which you put side by side, so you have to have at least a minimum of 4 feet and both sides of the road
And
and the crosswalk.
And it doesn't wear out.
It
This is the
doesn't wear
new-
out.
This is the new ADA standard.
And this is
And-
pretty much what they installed today.
It's
They
so,
don't use the bricks anymore.
and it's so if someone has limited eyesight, they know when they're getting to the end of the
Right.
crosswalk.
Yep, it has to be there by law.
Yeah.
And we have to maintain them by law.
So we didn't do any, do we have any plates now
Yep.
of the new type?
We replace them every year.
Yes.
And what he
we're
was saying is he got a price on replacing
Yeah,
them
I
this
got
year.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, I thought too high, and I think we're reaching the point, I agree with you, where we ought to see if we can do them ourselves, especially now that it looks like we're going to be able to get a full-time seasonal or a full-time worker,
Yeah,
not a
so
seasonal anymore.
Seth is basically was doing it all in one day. So time for the crew would be 1 to 2 days. That's very doable.
So at this point, we're just looking at leaving that line item in as is on the 5,200 on ADA. That's the
Oh,
request
yeah,
right
we'll
now.
spend it.
Yeah.
We will spend it.
We can buy the
for this
plates
year.
and stack them up because all they do is rust a little.
Yeah,
But long-term, you're looking at getting a
right.
funds for a
Yeah.
a mixer to use for that. And
So if we did get the concrete mixer, next year it would be just the cost of plates and concrete.
So I think what we can do, we'll get the inventory completed. We'll just count where we need these, right? That should be pretty
Yeah.
easy to do.
Well, there's well over 40
And then we'll
right now.
come back. What I'd like to do is use the money we've got in there now and, in that line item and combine that with any money we need from the capital reserves and get the mixer. But I think what we're being asked to do, Hugh, is come up with the inventory and
Yeah.
be able to
that's easy-
identify the
that's real
cost
easy to
benefit.
do.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
but we feel there's at least 40.
There's at least 40.
At least, yeah.
So
And they break, when the snow blower hits them, they
Yeah,
break.
yeah, yeah, they get some hard use, so, okay.
Are we good on that line item?
I'm fine with that.
Because I'd like to go to a different line.
Yeah, yeah.
Page 26, 5296, line striping, 5297, Main Street painting and sweeping. I know we've talked about this before and Mark has brought it up about looking as a contract to try to get these lines done at a reasonable time frame and not during normal
Well, when
operating
I've had
business
the help,
hours.
I've got the downtown done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and that's, yeah, I think that's, and that you
That's a
put,
big
you hit
part.
it right there is when the help's been, I think the last couple of years, we haven't had.
But I still would like
help,
to
but I-
explore
Yeah,
the contracted cost.
yeah,
Because if, we're low on manpower, or if we do have manpower, we still ought to say, let's look at the cost of a contract to have them come in, and then those are hours that you could be doing something different with a seasonal helper.
I don't have a problem with that.
yeah, I think it's definitely a
Just to
spot. I'll
see-
agree with Josh there. I think it's a
Just to
spot we
see
could-
where it comes in, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't come in that way, then it's not cost effective, then we can do it ourselves, but I just think we can get it done quicker. I know Newcastle gets theirs done in about a night, but we've got more painting,
Hmm.
but at least they're getting theirs done, in one evening, or
Yeah.
we may get it done in two. So I just think we ought to look at that.
What do they use?
Mark, do you know who Newcastle uses? I knew Hager's used to do striping and stuff, but
Lucas?
there's
They don't.
another company that
I
does it.
don't do it anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Lucas. I've got the name at the school because we've used them there.
Right.
But I do like the idea of getting them done by Memorial Day. We always used to be able to do it.
So I think we ought to at least just see if we can get a price quote. Yep. Go from there. And is paint as hard to get this year as it was last year?
I've already ordered it, so I got 10 5-gallon buckets of white. I got one and something left over. So I think it'll be fine to get it.
What are you seeing on pricing on that, Hugh? How's
Everything's going up.
everything? I'm just curious on your paint, yeah. Crazy. Okay,
I was just talking with Kevin Verney, and I know we paid an outrageous price to have those 2 trash bins built. Just the wire mesh that goes around the inside the framework cost him $84. He went to look to buy another piece of it today, $272.
oh, yeah, that expanded metal, yeah,
So
that's crazy,
yeah, that's
yeah,
an outrageous jump in price.
yeah.
So I guess we had those built just in time, even though they were almost
Hard to
700 a
fathom,
piece.
yeah.
We won't need any more of those for a while. Just keep them painted, you know.
So
Any other?
on the purchase of, we purchased that shipping container. How was that working out for you?
I haven't had a chance to get shelving for it, but that's my next step is to get the shelving for it, but once it's all winter's over, I'm planning on rearranging it, but I stuffed it. I didn't stuff the top, but I stuffed the floor.
You got everything inside that you needed to
That
get
all
in,
the engines and stuff
stuff
finally out of the weather.
that been important, yeah,
And
no,
are
that's
there
good.
any other little or projects out there that are gonna happen out on your Heater Road facility this spring or the summer? or-
I got being constructed outhouse for $660.
Is that a porta potty outhouse or is
No,
it?
it's a wooden one by the Amish. however you say that.
So is that
And I've
a
looked
one
at-
holer or a two
It'd
holer?
be a one holer. It's 48 inches by 48 inches. So
Does it got a moon in it? They cut the moon in
No,
the door?
no,
Ah.
no, so that way we could insulate it, keep the wind and stuff out of it. And
Just, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah.
yes, I actually looked into it. It's just we would build it the
Yeah,
same way
I'd
the
call it right
state
there,
does
yeah.
theirs. You just have to have
So-
either 750 or 1,000 gallons, so tank underneath
tank.
it, and you
Yeah.
and you drop into the tank. It's called a free fall, you know. and It's the cheapest way out of it. The total cost of it
Just
will
talking
be
bathrooms in
slightly over $2,000.
Mark, Go ahead. You had a question?
I got a question, like, how much time are you spending out there to go ahead and have something like that? You know, we have these bathrooms downtown and I don't know.
Well, right now, if I have to go, the fastest location is the fire station, which is 8 to 10 minutes. And if you get a, oh my God, moment, you don't have that time.
I'm trying to be professional here. This is
So,
an interesting conversation.
Hey, it's a one holer though.
It's a-
I got a follow-up then. You don't really live in that garage, do you?
No. But that's where we work out of.
You don't spend the night there?
Tools are.
I'm just worried about if you're sleeping in there, the liability of the town. That's all.
No, there's days during snowstorms that I rest in there, but I wouldn't say I sleep in there.
Just want to look at the liability.
It's heated.
So
Um,
I guess when it comes to an outhouse, it's a municipal use outhouse. Do we have to get any type of permitting if is it workplace
Yes.
issue
You
or?
have to pull a permit, which you do from our code enforcement officer. He approves the location and the design. And then after it's constructed, he finalizes it. The state is not involved. I called the state. I did all the research. That's the cheapest way out of it, is to get a restroom over
I'm
there.
just wondering about workplace compliance. I know porta potties are a little bit different story. There's quite a difference between a,
Well, a
one whole
porta
outhouse
potty
and
is $1,500 to $1,600, and it's a piece of plastic. So in the winter, you go to freeze.
You followed all the
We're-
the state.
Whereas this would be a
Built
wooden
ones, yeah.
structure, eventually you slowly insulate it and
Yeah.
have a light in it.
I just don't want it to come up and back and bite us in the, you know what, while you.
In the what?
You know?
Well, I
I don't think so. I did. I spent over an hour talking on the phone with the state, so.
I just have a little bit of concern with that. I don't know.
I think it's the
would be
cheapest way to do it.
remiss to not provide gentlemen with a bathroom facility. This is a long time talking about
I know,
bathrooms.
but-
isn't it?
I got another question if I could.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
And my internet's cutting in and out, so my question would be, how much is it gonna cost you to have that pumped out when it's full?
Well, Cheryl, what's the cost when we have the,
Like $165 when we do the Biskie Beach and
no, when we do,
The pump out station.
pump out station. Oh,
that's 750 gallons.
I'd have to look. I honestly don't know right off the top of my head what we pay. I can go peek though, or I can email
You got
Mark.
a- So you got 1,000-gallon tank that you'd have to pay to go ahead and get rid of, would have to buy the tank compared to getting a portable and putting antifreeze in it and making it do.
And I think you might pump it every other year.
It's a
You
it's
know,
a large
that's-
tank for a low use
Yeah.
tank. I too remember it is a remote facility out there and Hugh says you gotta go. So
the outhouse that sits outside the building out there right now, which is the beaches, I have to strap that up because Hagar's guys started using it the first year it was there, and I had to have it cleaned in order to get it down to the beach.
I would say as long as it's in compliance, like Josh mentioned, in compliance, you've done your research, everything's in compliance, then we shouldn't have an issue. It's a self-contained unit. So,
Yeah.
Trying to do it as cheap as possible.
yeah.
Who else would be allowed to use it? For example, the police department and an emergency user.
Yeah, it's a town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as the facility's open.
Maybe we could put that in the new town manager contract, you know?
Yeah. They gotta clean it up.
Emergency
Right.
use, you are allowed to use the one
So-
whole. outhouse.
Have we had enough potty talk? Can we move on?
Yeah, this is getting crappy.
Anything else on the public works budget?
Uh,
The culverts. Where am I here? I'm on my different page.
Culverts are like 33,000, 3,200,
32.
33.
I know we've discussed
Yeah.
this many times. 25, 52, 12.
5212, yeah.
And so that's 3,200. And there's another one, like 6,000 for a rental of a machine for culvert replacement. So that would be 9,200. How about farming that out? We've discussed this multiple times about farming it out to a contractor and
Every time I've checked to have a culvert, just a culvert replaced, one, it's been $5,000 or more. So I spend the 3,200 on actual culvert,
buying the culverts.
well, buying culvert.
Right.
That's for the material, for the culverts
And
themselves.
the gravel and the rental of the machine, and I can do like 5. So that's like $25,000 minus the cost of the culvert and the gravel and the asphalt. So you're saving. Plus, let's say you do a culvert a day, you rent for 2 weeks, you can also do ditching, shoulder work with that machine. So there's other things you can do. So when I rent that mini, I keep it working right straight through. And if it has a downtime, it's working in the shop area, doing something there. So,
I just
yeah, I know.
just looking at things that sometimes
Yeah.
Yeah,
people operate machines every day go a lot quicker than somebody that operates one
Well,
couple
I've been doing it
couple weeks
all-
a year.
doing it all my life. Just right now, it's not,
So maybe
an everyday
wow.
thing.
maybe that's a thing to look at.
Yeah. How recent was the last time you checked you on the, having them put in that 5,000 price? Is that recent or, I mean, I'm just curious to.
That was, let's say 2 years ago.
Couple years
because-
ago.
Yeah.
We'll get some new prices.
I think.
Yeah, if it never hurts to look into
When
it,
I
but if
fir-
it's
When I first came
more
here,
cost effective to do
Seth
it
had written in the
ourselves.
town a letter saying he would put a culvert in any place in this town for $6,500.
Yeah.
And that was in 2010.
All right. Anything else? Any other line items on highway department? Anything, Hugh, you've got to go over?
There's 10/21/14. It says new string trimmer. We bought that last year, but I need a lawnmower. So if you would cross that out and put push lawnmower in there. That's what I'll use that money for.
What page is that on
That
here?
was on.
That is
23,
on the very first page.
2114 general supplies, right? It says string,
Yep,
new string
yep,
trimmer.
20, yeah,
Okay, so that's the same, yeah,
yeah.
it just lawnmower string trimmer.
So
Okay.
a few years ago, when we had joint public works in Newcastle, there was a software system that we had for kind of roads.
We were looking into that. We had done all the research to get all the locations, all the culverts, all the signs. We had done all that work. That was all in Newcastle. I kept on asking Steve for it. He kept on trying to send it to me, but it wouldn't come to me. And
You're talking about the road surface assessment?
Yes.
Yeah, Lincoln County Planning is paying for that for the whole
Right.
county. So
Oh,
I put us in the list for that.
okay.
Oh,
So,
I just wanted to make sure that we were
Yeah.
gonna
yeah,
get that.
we're
going
on the
again.
list. So
so that's something they do as an
And-
annual thing or something they just.
and the truck has a.
it's just a software.
Oh.
And then we
okay.
do it.
Too,
Yeah,
so you
gotcha.
can write down.
Yeah.
GPS location
Right.
of things and then enter it into any kind of
Oh, I see.
program.
Okay.
So that, yeah, that's something that is needed.
Hmm. Okay.
I think I had,
Questions for you? Mark, any questions?
I got one more there.
Got one more? Yeah, go ahead.
Page 27, 8930, public landing maintenance. You said $500, looking into dock lighting for those who are using their docks at night. Are you looking at solar lights? Are you looking at doing an electrical line down through there? And how do you,
I found this little light that's floor mounted, but it's a bump. That's like $23 and it's solar. But when I talked with Eric Peters, he was not in favor of it because it creates a bump when you're dragging boxes and stuff down the docks. I said, well, we'll put them over in the corners. At least something will be lit down there because
Yeah, you wouldn't be
there's
walking
more
over
and
them,
more
be in the middle.
people coming in here at night in their
Yeah.
boat. And you look down there at 7:30, 8 o'clock and there's 4 or 5 boats tied up. And you know what they're doing. They're having supper.
Yeah.
And so it gets dusk and they're walking down on those docks. And I was thinking that, one slip, trip, a fall
Yeah.
hazard. And we're going to be accused of something.
It would seem that the
Yeah.
liability of not having it lit as opposed to somebody having to move their cooler over 2
Right.
inches would probably be
Yeah.
offset. So
maybe, do we have any like a LED flood system there on the flagpole area there now to light that area?
There is the phone pole that has the electrical box on it. We could stick a light up there and shine it directly down the docks.
You could put a motion sensor on it, motion sensor light, and they stay on for several minutes after they go on.
So I mean, that may.
the only thing there too, you gotta consider where the light's gonna be. If you have a motion sensor in the spotlight
Will it
walking into it.
reach the
You
end?
can have more than one there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But if you did something dock mounted, like you were talking about, something foot lighting, because you're not trying to light up, you need foot lighting.
Yeah,
So,
just so they
something
can see where
portable.
they're walking. They know where their boat is.
Wouldn't cost any
They
electricity
left
or
it
anything.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
All right. Or somebody falls overboard.
you could very easily, for the $500, buy a LED light and put it up on that pole and shine it over the kiosk and down on the boats and do something.
I think all my bullet notes are all done.
Gotcha. All right. Mark, you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. All right. We got
I'll make a motion to approve the 507-996-42 highway department.
Second.
who's second? I can move. Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, Mark? Yep. All of us. Thank you, Zero.
To
Right.
capital improvement.
Yeah, we'll do capital reserves
Have a good evening.
right now,
Oh,
right?
just hang on a sec. Hugh.
Yeah, we're just gonna do capital, start. There we go.
Looks like 98,000 for the Hodgson Street project. Highway truck reserve 10,000, highway equipment 5,000. Peter Road,
010.
the 10,000, which I guess Matt's getting all the needed information, the rights of way and all that with,
We've been
Wait.
waiting for one person on the road to give us the deed. So, and what we're gonna do, what I asked Amanda to do was, okay, I don't want to get into too much detail, but we had a one deed that we had all the abutters sign, and now the latest abutter has some changes to make in the deed, so I'm gonna have everybody come back in and sign it again.
so I'll make a motion to approve the 123,000 total for the public works.
Second,
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Mark,
Mark?
I got a question on that.
Yeah, we can stay in discussion.
Drainage around that heater road. You know, trying to get that water to run down through there, maybe getting permission from Cole to run that down to the east. Because if you look at that road, what it looks like in the springtime, somehow we got to get that dried up before we do anything to it.
Yes, right there where the cross culvert is. It does mud up. It's still muddy. I've been raking it with my York rake, so it's not so bad. That's where they took the water line and they dug across the road. And when they did that, they dug down through our fabric that we had spent all that money on to build up that,
Oh,
put the fabric down there. We put a road base on there. And so all that's where all the clay and stuff was just thrown back in the hole. That's the only place that really acts up. And I think if we can stop the salt and sand from permeating, coming off the trucks in the wintertime, that we'll be able to stabilize it.
yeah.
I just, what, so you want it so there's no sand and salt on it?
No, didn't say that. That's gonna happen, but if it's paved or if it's used recycled asphalt, the salt and sand that falls off the trucks, it causes all that mud.
Just get it more
Won't make it
protected.
into the base soils and should stabilize it.
We still have, hang on a second, Mark. We still have we seconded and went to discussion, but we had a preliminary vote, but do you have anything else? We want to move this along. So I don't know, do we need to revote it? Did Mark vote? Did you vote in favor, Mark, for moving the capital reserves?
I mean, I will, but I just want to make it aware. I've got some pictures I'll send to everybody, what that road looks like in the spring.
Yeah, I think we all agree the road needs some work, definitely, but we can pull it up at a later date and we'll get the budget moving along here. So thank you. Yeah, so we're unanimous.
5-0,
I think- yeah.
123, got it.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, you. No, you don't.
Thank you. Yeah, I get you. We'll bring the library in. He's been waiting. We'll make you wait in the corner over there. Matt, who do we have from the library?
Matthew's on, yeah.
Matthew, grab, okay,
Matthew,
yeah,
can you turn your picture back on and your sound?
thank you.
So, yeah,
bye-bye.
See you.
We're back on page 50. Yeah. Hi, Matthew.
Hello,
How you doing?
very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Good, good. Yeah, no increase here, right? Just a state across the line? All right.
Just straight across the line, and thank you very much for your support.
it says it's 2 cents higher than it was last year.
oh,
Well, yes, it's true. He's
Yeah,
got 2
that.
cents in there. You're right. 2021
It's
actual
not the
was
same.
4.2,
It's 2
so,
cents.
Yeah.
I'm willing to cut the 2 cents.
What is that percentage? Can we do that percentage real quick?
Yeah.
I'll move the 33,813,02 for Skinonfa Library.
I will second.
2 seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, Mark, do. All right. Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you here.
Right.
Now somebody in the hot seat now.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Well, let's see, who do we have next? Did we have John?
Have-
He's in waiting too.
Who?
John Roberts.
Oh, John.
Is,
Roberts.
who's next on the?
Um,
there?
Police
We got
Department is
PD
the
for.
Oh, PD, okay.
We did, yeah,
Okay.
we're
Right
more or
on.
less on time.
Pretty
So,
much
yeah.
a couple minutes over.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad. We'll get rushed through. As long as nobody needs an outhouse, we're good.
Yeah.
No, it's just, as long as it's 2 people at the same time, I don't have an emergency, we're all set.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're on page, oh, shoot, what page are we on
Those
here?
are, guys, are just the numbers. Those are our yearly numbers that we do every year between the police departments, between, Wiscasset, Boothby Harbor, Damascotta, and Waldeboro.
Page 29.
Those anytime you want.
There we go.
Those are just your call numbers, Jason.
Correct.
Minutes,
Yes,
thank
they're
you.
just call numbers. Those are the call numbers for the fiscal year, not for the calendar year. And either at the end of the page or at the end of the second page just shows you, all we do is go on that computer system and we just put in there calls for service. There are no medical calls in there, just so you all know. Medical calls are separate that we go to. We were at about 8,900.
So that's all, yeah, 8,900 is the
Yeah.
total on that. Yeah.
Which is actually a little lower. I think COVID plays a large part in that, really, but we're typically around that 10,000 mark. But just like, we're pretty well on par with Waldeboro, a little higher than Wiscasset and a little higher than
Wiscasset
Boothby
was
Harbor.
7,500 and.
Yeah.
What was Waldeboro's? County.
No, we don't do the county numbers.
Oh,
That's
that
just
was.
municipal law
I- so-
enforcement,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. I misread the heading. on
And
there.
obviously, like any other time, guys, if you have questions about those, I know this isn't the place to talk about it, but if you have questions, just let me know and I can answer whatever I can for you.
Calls.
Were the patrol officers satisfied with,
Oh, they're ecstatic. We're very happy and we're very blessed. There's no question about that. So thank you, guys.
One intoxicated person.
Well,
sure with that board?
Well, the budget that you see here has, I think, everything the department asked for, with the exception of the increase for the chief. You discuss it, you'll just discuss next week. So,
Yes.
Is that right? Was there anything else we reduced in the budget? in
just the
police
reserve
budget?
line. I believe just the reserve line by like $1,200.
Oh, I brought the reserve officer.
For the reserve officers.
Yeah, that was, I thought the increase there was a little too high. So it was an increase of 25% per hour, and I reduced that.
So, Matt, that's on, the 9066 that you're talking about the reserve officer line. So then the request number is 13,750.
Yeah, it was 15,000.
Oh, well, okay, it's
That's
down.
what-
That's the
they
correct
cut it.
number there
Yeah,
that we
that's the
have.
only one we reduced.
Okay, 13,750 is the correct number. Okay. All right. So everything, any questions for the chief or anything you want to point out on the budget? Anybody?
I got a couple questions. Page 33, training and education, 6253 at the top. You've got budgeted for that is 7,500. And year to date is 1,776.50 in the, I guess I'm looking at a trend here that it's not using all the 7,500. Do you
Yes,
have some scheduled training that will probably use that $7,500?
There's
$7,500?
two $800 trainings that haven't been billed to us yet that we
Okay.
took this year so far. Unfortunately with COVID, when we originally did this, the IACP International Association of Chiefs of Police, I was supposed to attend a leadership training there. So we increased that line item by $1,500 for that training. That training has been canceled the last 2 years. Allegedly, everything has come back into fruition now and we're actually able to attend trainings. So in theory, hopefully I can get there maybe in September is my hope. But yes, we actually have scheduled trainings right out through the academy that are actually going to happen this year. Again, anything can change, obviously,
Yeah.
with COVID. I completely understand where you're coming from. And I think last year when we did this, the goal was COVID was on the decline again, and we were going to be able to get some in-person trainings. And then they've all fallen, everything happened with the
Yeah.
Omicron, and then all the trainings were online, and the online trainings certainly weren't the same trainings.
No, they're lacking.
I have a question. We had spoken earlier about automating the records.
Yep.
And, maybe working with Newcastle and software, whatever. Is that in here at all?
Oh, nope. So actually, I'm fundraising for that, and that's not going to come out of the town's budget whatsoever. I have private donors that are going to donate that $5,000 to put that program through. So it's pretty exciting. So it didn't have to be added in anywhere
Yeah,
in
well,
here.
hit me up. I talked to you about that.
Yeah,
once
sure,
before.
absolutely.
Okay.
I'm very excited with that. We're actually starting into the Main Leaps program, which is the main accreditation for law enforcement, which is once we get certified, it's going to take us about 2 years. It's an exponential savings on our insurance. It's called MLEAP. I don't want to get into it now because it would take me an hour to explain all this whole thing, but it's a really good thing. And we would become accredited through an accreditation bureau or firm. And with that goes over policies, procedures, daily activities, all of that. And it really just cinches everything up and makes your department streamlined just the same as Portland or Brunswick, because you have to follow the same guidelines to become accredited. So,
We just heard save money. That was the.
well, correct. Perfect. Well, it is a savings.
So I get a savings line item here. Page 32, travel and meeting expenses, 62 mileage. You have a line item of 1,700 for mileage reimbursement for trainings, forums, and meetings.
Yes,
That was the purpose of the third car was.
correct. And that's why we were able to save, and you are 100% correct. I actually put right on here, other than having to send Joanna to any administrative training, we should be able to eliminate a lot of that. And I don't know what that looks like for her training, but I can't imagine it would be $1,700.
Right, because I'm looking at the trend,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got
for sure.
685, 617, 76,
Yep.
that's a COVID related number, and
Hmm.
2719, for this is, that's why we had the third car was to eliminate some of the mileage issues, so.
What if we cut that by 1,300? Would that be appropriate? And just to see if that was able to, again, Joanna still has to do MMA training and metro training, that we would still have to pay her mileage to go to, say, in Portland. But
Sold.
other than that, sold. I'm asking you guys, because again,
Well,
I picked up on that before we even came in here, I put right on here that this is something that I could shave
Right,
something off of.
so that's an area I think we could, I guess the highest number we have on here is 685, so if you cut 1,000 off it, at least you'd be,
Still have.
see where it is,
Still
and
have
then
wiggle room
next
just in
year we'll
case of mileage
revisit.
reimbursement.
Yeah,
If that's
So-
fair for
so
you
keep
guys.
it at 700.
Put it at 700, so we'll
Okay.
reduce that
Sure.
by 1,000.
Over here.
Fair enough. Mark, do you have anything on your end for the PD budget?
No, I think that's a good catch there, because we did talk about that spare car.
And that has saved us. We've gone to several trainings, actually. Kyle Sylvester's gone to a couple, Joseph Booth has gone to a couple, and they take that car, and I bet it saved us maybe $300 or $400 in mileage so far.
Mileage reimbursements, yeah.
What's the
Okay.
condition of the car now?
Well, it's got 141,000 miles, and knock on wood, I don't want to say anything too quickly, but it hasn't broke down on us yet and hasn't cost us much, other than some tires and brakes, which is pretty normal.
On the other hand, I'm looking at the gas and you already spent 7,600 in.
Yeah, fuel
22.
line.
That's low. That's really low. Actually, I think there might even be one sitting in maybe your box, if not yet, that's about 1,400.
Yeah, but you only have 13,000 for the year.
Well, and so I put on my list here, once everybody was done, I actually just put, is this
30.
enough? Because when I did this budget, this was probably what, guys, a month and a half ago, I think, and gas was maybe 298-ish.
I've seen 70 cents. saved
So I
as well.
factored that in. It's unpredictable. I mean, I'd love to think that the gas is going to go down, but if it doesn't, I've had the conversation. Matt is diligent about making sure we shut those cars off when they're outside idling, and I get that.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, it's fine. I sent a memo out last week to all my staff saying that the cars they cannot idle right now. It's just ludicrous as expensive as it is. So what I'm hopeful and I don't want to see is I don't want to put us in a position where I have to tell my staff, come to work, but you can't work, right? Respond to calls only. We are
Shoe-
famous.
Shoe
for-
leather.
What?
Yeah,
Well,
shoe
yeah, I
leather,
mean, we're
right.
famous for being out there. That's what we're
Yeah,
known for, is being
Yeah.
out in the public.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I'm here to work with you. 13,000.
Well, that's always one of those, right, the volatile things where you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do you?
Yeah, you can't control that.
Well, I mean, if you look at the other years, okay, you almost expended what you did in the other years so far this year.
And fuel was low. I mean, we're only going back to 19 when fuel was at
So, I
that
mean,
$2 mark.
It looks, you know, like a no-brainer that you're gonna go way over that 13,000.
Well, I can tell you that I could stay in those parameters, but is my patrol going to suffer? The answer is going to be yes. It
Yeah,
has
you'd
to
have to
suffer.
come
It
back,
cannot be
yeah.
everywhere, right? We can't be everywhere and not use gas when we get.
Maybe a gas station in town that'll give you a discount.
Where does that, how does that work? Where does that come out of once that overrun on that line item? Where would that?
Great question. I would steal it from somewhere if I
you-
had
You'd
to.
have to move it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll all say that, I mean, obviously we run a really tight budget. We really do. And we try
Yeah.
to do that well. And at the end of the year, typically speaking, our carryover comes from a health insurance line item. We've always, not always,
Mhm.
but we have to budget for these staff members to have family health insurance.
Yes.
And they're all able to at any time. We have a couple that maybe don't take it or only take a single plan. But at any time, they can say, and they're allowed to opt back into the family coverage. So again, that's where our carry forward comes from at the end of the year. It's not from typical line items. We're normally pretty good about using all that money. So if I had to steal it, that's about the only place I'd be able to manipulate it from would be that healthcare line.
There, yeah.
And that's a gamble, right?
Could you take the 1,000 that you cut out of?
You read my mind.
It's a feel-good moment, though.
I know.
Don't take it away from- it's taking it away from you. Don't take that moment away from me.
Mark's laughing over there too. I say if we shifted into that, yeah.
I mean, we can move it wherever you guys want to move
Yeah.
it.
Why don't?
Sorry, Josh, for taking your
That's all
Why don't
right.
we
I'm
take
gonna
that?
revisit the 20,800.
$9.99. So, yeah. Give him the dollar, $9.99. Well, yeah.
Move it into the gasoline. You're gonna need it.
Well, I'd like to think not, but I
Well,
think
if you
the
don't, you
reality
don't.
is,
Yeah.
yes, we're going to.
So,
Better than buying shoes.
so as we get into that, on the fuel, vehicle repairs,
Yep,
um,
that went up 2,000.
it went up 2,000.
Yeah,
3024 on page 31.
Yeah, and I guess, does the 872 number from year to date include all those bills that we just paid like a couple
No.
weeks ago?
No.
So,
No, we just got another close to $500 bill today just for rear brakes.
right,
It was $170 for brake pads alone. And in full disclosure, our mechanic only charges us $49 an hour for labor.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
incredible.
Dennis
I
does a
mean,
great
it's-
job. Yeah, he
So
does
I have
do
no
good, so,
complaints at all. We can't, it's just like he was telling me legitimately, I mean, those were $60 brake shoes last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
It's just good stuff.
Dennis is
because we have
doing,
to have it.
pricing wise, doing the best he can.
He's
for
treating me,
you
he's
guys.
treating us as a town very fair for our cruisers.
Quick turn. Yeah.
Here's our concern. There are things, and Dennis is amazing, and he would hate to
Yeah.
say this, but there are some things he's not able to do on our cruisers.
Mhm.
There is some fancy electronic
There's gonna be
crap
some
that-
dealer only things
Yeah.
that you're gonna be. up
So
against.
that's,
He's
you know,
gonna be up
and
against.
the last time we went to Wiscasset Ford, it was a catalytic converter issue. Fortunately, it was under warranty. They fought to get it under warranty. It was a $4,000 repair to the exhaust system on a car that had 38,000 miles. Because it's just super expensive for this stuff.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we argued and fought and they put it through and Ford did warranty it for us. But what if that had been tomorrow?
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been no argument. We have 50,000 miles in that car. They would have said no.
Yeah.
So that, you know, and that 7,000, I'm being conservative. We work really hard and we do take very good care of our cruisers. We really do try to do that because we treat them like they're our own if we have to fix them. But we all know in this room that $7,000 would not fix an engine if we lost a motor in one of our vehicles. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's so expensive right now.
So the status of the new truck is coming in April. maybe?
April, I called him yesterday so I could have an update for you folks and he has not called me back yet. It was supposed to be March and it's April. And here's what I can tell you. It is not the company jerking us around. It is Ford as a whole.
Company.
Those trucks are sitting there 100%
Ford.
built with no
Yeah.
computer chip.
Ford
on it.
has no chips. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's the
pre-built.
only thing we're waiting on. The truck is built and ready to go and they will not send it out without, and the computer chips, I got the download. The truck runs and functions, but the dome light may not work. Or the rear brake light on the rear
Yeah,
cab may
yeah.
not work,
VCM
but they
stuff
cannot release it because of quality control
Yeah.
until that. Sorry, Mark, I forget you're back there.
I know.
No, that's okay.
Sure, he's not.
That's where that fifth folder was supposed to go to Matt. I mean, to Mark.
I'll put it in his box.
But my point being is that that's when we're supposed to get it.
Yeah.
We are milking, obviously we're milking the Cruiser the best we can
Mhm.
right now. Unfortunately, my black, the 2017 has got over 100,000 on it. And our new one is now out of warranty with 50 something on it. So it's discouraging. I mean, we put miles on. We may only have a town this big, but you guys love that we're out there. You always see us somewhere on the road and we can put miles on.
I got a comment on that truck. That was a good price, if I remember right. It was almost like it'd be nice to have two of them.
Yeah, and I don't know what that price has done now, but at the time that truck was, if I remember correctly, cheaper
Hmm.
than an
Yeah.
SUV.
Yeah.
Was it?
Was it
So-
30,
35, 34, 35.
34, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
We're not
the-
gonna-
I wouldn't
So
touch
do
it.
we don't have to pay increase, do we?
I'm sorry. No,
No.
absolutely not. We have that locked in. We don't have to pay any.
Okay,
No, I specifically asked that question.
Okay.
good.
So I guess the only other question I have is just, I don't want to get into debate, but I just see on page 34, the third line down, 9068, the Public Safety Administrative Assistant.
Yes, sir.
Cheryl, maybe you can answer this question for me. Includes a payroll line increase from 4A to 5A.
Mhm.
Is that just a step scale?
Yep.
or-
Yep, that's the one that we made when Robin was here.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to
Yep.
double check on that.
Yeah.
And that you still can get a 4%, it says it's.
Yep, the
4%
pay scale
COLA.
says that you get a step increase, and just because you got a step increase doesn't mean you don't get the COLA. Some
Correct.
years you
The COLA
get
as
just the
well.
COLA,
Okay.
some years
Yeah.
you get both.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
just wanted to clarify from my own brain, that's what I was thinking, so.
If I can just on a separate note, back on the first page, page 29, 12-38. Last year, we had put $5,000 in that payroll line for the body cameras. I wanted to update everybody on what that process was. We have not received the body cameras yet, and we did a joint grant with Waldeboro.
Right.
This is normally the grants will reimburse us, even if we buy the product, they'll reimburse if we get it. This particular grant was not that case. So why we did not buy these cameras when we should have was because we thought we were going to get the grant. Waldeboro and I truly believed we were going to be, so we didn't want to spend that $5,000 because they would not have reimbursed us. They would only pay for the equipment, right? So
Not
we held off,
reimbursing.
and unfortunately, we were denied, both Waldeboro and I, we didn't get the grant. There were a lot of other people out there that didn't have cameras at all. We already have cameras, so that was kind of one of these steps that didn't work for us. So I cut that line. You had given me 5 last year. I did cut that by 3. I would have cut all 5 of it, except we need a couple of new tasers. So it only makes sense to take it. We already had it there. So that's why that decrease didn't go all $5,000. And I just wanted to let you guys know. It wasn't that I wasn't cognizant. You were great enough to give us that money last year. I just thought it was a good appropriation of money to be able to use that line item to buy the 2 new tasers.
How are you set on with the cameras? Are we still in need for upgrade?
So I had the money, we had the money set aside for it because we were budgeted. I just had to wait until, and it took them months and months and months to get back to us, to deny us. Well, then from the point that we could have got them to the point that they told us we weren't going to get the grant, prices went up.
Right, yeah.
So I mark on that, we'll get to that now. So at 13-38, same page.
Yep.
The increase of $500 on the TriTech. So what we did is,
Software license. okay.
yeah, we switched from IMC accident reporting system to a main crash reporting accident reporting system. The bottom line is we saved $1,000 by getting rid of that program through IMC. Unfortunately, the price went up on the body camera yearly contract by $1,000 from the time we tried to get into it till now. But so we were able to save $1,000. So all we did was just transfer that money. So even though I put in here a $500 increase, the reality is, since I put this in here, we actually saved $1,000 by dropping that program, but we added that $1,000 to the body camera thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's almost like
It's a wash.
taking the mileage reimbursement and giving it to your fuel.
Correct. Same exact thing.
I had a good moment.
You
going.
did have a good moment.
Oh, that was.
But I didn't want you guys to look on there and say, well, you
No,
said, well,
no.
no, that's when I did this, that's what it was, but there's no sense in going back and changing it. I just explained it to you.
So,
But the body cameras are, we start April 1st and the equipment will be here prior to that and we will all have that body camera, and the contract will kick off April 1st.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, so we haven't adjusted, do we have to adjust a number on this right now?
No, we just
No.
moved it over.
It-
We took
we
a
moved it
thousand
over.
out of
Same
one.
number.
Well, but we have the chief salary line item, right? So if we
You
move,
approve it as it is now, and then if things.
can we approve the,
Yeah,
Get,
Yeah.
you approve the seven,
Okay.
16, 689,
then we
56.
change it.
And then
we can come back.
Then
on it.
you
All right, all
revisit
right.
if
Yeah.
that should
Yeah.
happen.
Good enough. Oh, all right.
There's something that
So I'll
went
make
up
that motion.
Was it
Set
something?
that number.
Second. There was
Hang on.
something that
Did we
went
make a
up
motion?
50 cents.
I did.
know.
Josh made a motion, second.
I was just
Any
making a
discussion?
joke.
All those in favor? All right, Mark, good? Okay,
Now we gotta do. the
all right.
Police department.
Yeah, let's do
reserve.
capital.
You only have 12,000,
I do not.
12,000, that's it. So I'll make a motion to
Total
approve the
police on 12.
12,000 on the
I know.
capital improvement
Next
program
one.
request.
Look at
for the
airplane
police.
Second,
Tom seconds. Any discussion on capital? All those in favor? Okay, Mark, yep. Good, Cheryl.
He's out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
All right.
I
Thank you,
appreciate-
Chief.
We
Good job.
appreciate your support very much.
Let's get the other chief in here, JR.
Yeah, I think I'm on. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yep.
I'm out.
Yeah, Josh, you sit out of this one. You can't move anything around on this one.
Nope.
All right, we're on page 35.
Can you make a suggestion?
No. Yeah, you can
Already made my
make a
suggestion.
suggestion, so, all right.
The budget.
Roberts, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's everything looking for you on your budget?
I think we're doing pretty good. I think Matt summarized everything pretty well in the, kind of one pager summary. We held the line pretty tight. We were asking for $1 raise and a couple of officer increases.
Yep.
And I think it was last year, the budget committee asked us to price out cancer insurance policy. So most of our increase is providing that number for discussion.
Any questions for the Chief Roberts? Mark, do you have any questions, comments?
No, I'll make a comment, they appreciate everything they do.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
We'll echo that, yeah. All right. There's the total right here.
157, 103, 44. Is that
You
correct?
on page 40?
On page 42.
Page.
I've got the,
Yeah, okay, yeah, page 40. So we've got, I'll move the 149, 357, 62.
second.
Who seconds? Any discussion? All those in favor? 2, 3. Mark? I think he's frozen. Or he's
Yeah.
napping.
he's nodded off.
All right. Oh, we have a quorum, I think.
Yeah.
Would you tap Mark on the way by, wake him up? Mark, do we have a yay vote on you? Yeah, all right. You froze for a minute.
My internet cut out.
Okay. Chief, thank you.
Yeah,
Capital
you
reserve.
want to talk capital
Capital
reserve?
reserves, yeah, thank you, Josh.
I think the only comment I have are the fire equipment. This is the year we need to replace 34 air bottles come the end of the 2023. So, a year and 6 months from now. Right now, they're running around $1,000 a piece. But with price increases, I'm not sure if we're going to have enough in that equipment replacement account to make that purchase. With that said, what I would do is try to probably use some of our fiscal year general equipment budget to make up the difference. If we're not able to get them all.
Don, what's the age cycle on those? How long do you?
I believe you can get 12 years and then you're forced to retire them.
Yeah,
I think you can do a test on after 6 years and rehydrate them, and then they're done. So they all expire. We cannot use them.
Yeah.
At the end of 2023.
so do you ever get a situation where it's staggered for expirations, or they all seem to?
We got a grant to upgrade the air packs exactly the number of years ago that they expire. I can't
Right,
remember.
so
if
all
it's
at once.
12 or 18 years. So all 34 expire this year. We have bought, I think, 3 or 4 different packs since then. So we do have, about 6 to 8 bottles that are in a different expiration cycle.
Yeah.
That we have more time on, but all these are expiring at the same time. Some other departments put in the budget to buy, 2 or 3 a year to soften the blow. What we did was try to do a fire equipment capital to do the same thing and not have to pay the yearly maintenance on all the bottles that we have, because you have to test each one of them every year.
You might get a better buy with a bulk buy like that too, with instead of 1 or 2, getting 34 maybe.
Yeah, and we're probably going to start the buying process at the beginning of the year, because the supply chain's so messed up. I want to make sure that we're going to have them before all of ours expire, because that would be that would pretty much put us out of service for interior attack.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll move the 177 for the capital reserves for the fire department.
Second.
2 seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Mark? He's frozen.
I'm
again.
sorry,
Oh,
I do have one question.
yeah, go ahead.
As far as I know we had the borings done in the parking lot. It showed that needed to be totally dug out, replaced. How long do we have before we have to put some money away and look at that? Is the driveway okay for a few years?
I think there's 65,000 in this request to go towards that use.
So it's going to
Mark
be done
asking.
this year is what you're saying, right?
I don't think with how much it costs to do the back, that 65 is going to come anywhere near close enough to do the front.
Yeah.
So we're probably looking at 2 or 3 years.
Still building that reserve up. To
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
John,
Good,
sorry you
yeah.
had to wait so long.
No problem. Have a good
Appreciate
day.
it. Thank you.
Don't vote yet, Daryl.
You got a motion and a second vote. When you forevoted, you asked Mark and then Mark.
Oh, Mark went into, yes. Well, he had his, yeah. Mark, did you vote yay or nay on the, yeah.
Hey,
Let me off here. Oh,
I'm abstaining.
I'll get the rules going all over the place here, if I may. All right, CLC. So we should have Nick Bryan coming in. Yeah. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Doing all right. So no budget increases on your end then, huh?
Not, to be fair, not since we last spoke.
Okay, all right. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, as we talked about, I think it was a month or 2 ago when I met with you folks, there was a substantial budget increase this year, 91% of which is due to salary increases. I'm not sure if you still have that handout I sent back then, but as you can see, when you look at that, looking around the county, we're staying in the ballpark of where everyone else is with wages. And as we talked about at that meeting, EMS recruitment and retention is at the forefront of the problems facing us right now, and paying the paramedics and EMTs that work for us a decent wage to keep well-educated and quality employees is key. There were a few other budget line increases, which, we've been slowly tweaking, whether it be utilities and uniforms, trying to get up to where we need to be without doing one big step. But like I said, 91% of that large increase is the payroll. And I know we discussed that at length a few months ago. So I open up to any questions you folks might have that have come up since then.
Can we level it off after this year?
Absolutely. Yes.
Please?
No, I completely understand. And it's unfortunately our total budget's, a little, $1.6 million, and 1.2 of that is payroll. So it's not, equipment. It's not, it's nothing that's controllable. Well, payroll is controllable, but if you're not in the market's range, you're going to lose all your employees. Then you're going to pay people overtime, and payroll is going to put itself up there. So it's really a hard thing. And I know we always talked about, what if we cut back and we staffed less? Well, then we'd do less transfers, then our income would cut into, a quarter of what it is, because we lose the transfers, which is what keeps the service as, I'll say, as cheap as it is. But as low cost it is. And if you look around the county, where by far our taxpayers aren't paying the most, they're paying a lot, but they're not paying the most by far. So I'm still happy that we're as low cost as we are when you look around. It's not a small number. I know it's a large increase, but we're still much cheaper at each individual town than some other services. So we are proud of that. We are trying to keep the cost down where it's possible.
Thank you. I was putting you on the spot there.
Yeah.
Hey,
We
Nick,
appreciate your.
Nick, can you update us on where Edgecombe and Noblesboro are?
Believe Noblesboro passed us last week. Edgecombe is still under contract, so that's good for another year. The negotiations are going on there. You might have seen in Jefferson, their town meeting is the end of this week. I answered some questions there last week. Again, not to speak for the taxpayers of Jefferson, they had a lot of questions, but I foresee that passing. I know they passed the first 6 months of Waldeboro's budget back in January when that issue kind of came up. So they'll be voting on our budget as well as the rest of Waldeboro's budget next year, for the next 6 months, excuse me. And then I'm going to the Alma town meeting next Saturday. They're weighing their options as well. So I'll be there to answer questions for them.
Yeah, I think I read that Edgecombe was prepared to face an increase next year.
Yeah, we spoke about it. Their selectmen at this point we're discussing it because they still have a year before they renegotiate with us, and they'll be meeting hopefully with our board to kind of start preliminarily seeing what the next few years will look like. Like I said, I would imagine Jefferson to pass. Alna, they're trying to decide between us and Wiscasset EMS. I'm hopeful that they'll stick with us. They seem to be pretty happy with our service. And I know South Bristol passed us last week. So far the budget's passed everywhere it's been. So.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. How much are the gas prices affecting your budget?
Well, it's going to hit us hard this year. We do have, there's a small buffer in there depending on, because if call volume goes up, obviously fuel use goes up, but we didn't foresee a, $1 or $2 increase in gas prices. We do have the benefit that we do at the end of the year get the refund from the state for the gas tax portion because we're a nonprofit agency. So that does help offset it a little bit, but that is going to be something we're monitoring very closely, and we might have to cut back on some other line items as depending on how long this increase goes for.
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate your service in town here. Huh?
No problem.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the CLC budget item.
Second.
2 seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Mark, you upset? All those in favor?
I'm out.
And Josh is going to abstain. Yep. So 4. So thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So we have left just
We left.
I'd like to cover the other
Capital reserve, right?
reserve items
Yep.
if we could. And
Yeah.
there's some good news that we have to share too on the
Finally.
revenue front.
Oh, right, good.
Yeah.
So let's go through those. Let's see, we covered everything in public works and
Yeah.
police, fire.
Cemetery.
I could have had Hugh address the mold situation, but we're making progress on that. And then in addition, we do need to just keep setting aside money for the roof in this building and other repairs that are needed. So the 12.6 is pretty modest, I think.
Yeah.
So you want us to vote on that right now, Matt?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve municipal building reserve at 12,600.
Second.
Seconds. Any discussion? Mark, go ahead. Oh, he's voting.
I'm voting all I can.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Okay. He's getting his hand up before his computer froze. So
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
And,
Yeah.
let's see, I put 2,000 in for
Waterfront.
the parking lot maintenance. That's a pretty minimal amount that we'll have in here,
Okay. so
less
I'll
than
move-
16,000.
Yeah, that's for.
I'll make the
maintenance.
motion to approve the 2,000 for the waterfront reserve.
Second.
Lou seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Yep. Mark's good. All right.
You want,
And
I can
then
go through some of these smaller items and then jump back to property valuation if that's
Reval.
okay. And then you can approve them if you want in one lump sum here. The town clock, We have the electronic equipment that was donated to us it turned out to be about 18,000. So that
Mhm.
saves some money there, but we still need to put money aside every year
Maintenance.
for
upkeep.
wear and tear.
Yeah.
We're gonna need that someday. Technology reserve, I put another 4,000 in. I'm not sure whose computer's up for replacing.
The planner, the tax collector, and the assessor.
Okay. And the landfill, when we had the solar array installed and the Department of Environmental Protection came out to inspect it, they said there were a number of
Sinkholes.
holes, sinkholes we had to address, and we haven't done that yet, but we need to set the money aside for that.
Okay.
The comp plan, need to boost that up because the committee is starting to meet, and we're probably going to need some consulting help on that. And then, yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, so Biscuit Beach is just a carryover. Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing new in Biskie Beach.
Okay.
So,
So the reval.
yeah, so I don't know if you want to approve those, but, we'll just say this. Cheryl and I were talking about how we can reduce the overall budget. And the thought is we don't absolutely need to do the reval right now. We can push that back. We're thinking, set aside 60,000.
Hey,
This
that's
year.
what I got
That's
right
good.
there on
Half
my
of that.
notes, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
It's a Pinkham thing.
That's a Pinkham thing.
We're gonna give him a win, are we? Can we
So,
move that to somewhere else? Just to
No,
Yeah.
get Josh?
Well, second thought, maybe we don't
Change that
want to.
20,800.
so I will
to-
make a motion to approve 1,000 for the town clock, 60,000 for property reval, technology reserve 4,000, landfill 4,000, comprehensive plan 5,000, Biskie Beach 0, broadband 0. So that's what we get on those ones.
424-1, is that the
Yep.
grand total?
Second.
All right.
Is
All
that
those in,
Tom?
yep, Tom. All those in favor? Skip the discussion, but that's
And
where.
Okay,
and then I'd like to
Thank you,
reduce the
Mark.
grand total number down 60,000, so it'd be 424,100.
424-100.
So that'd be my motion to approve the total capital program.
Second.
All right, discussion. All those in favor? And Mark? I think he's frozen again.
You frozen
gonna put his
again,
hand
Matt?
He goes good.
Frozen
Yeah.
margaritas, but
Yeah.
okay. And
Unanimous, yeah.
the good news I wanted to share is that the state treasurer's office came out with an updated revenue sharing forecast, and it went up to 318,000 from 289. So we can plug that into the revenues. And then the audit that you'll see a little later showed our fund balance a bit higher than I thought it would come in. We're at about 1.4 million for the fund balance. So we're recommending that we take another 50,000 of that and carry it forward to reduce the property tax for the coming year. We don't want to tap that too much because
We're gonna need it sometime.
we'll need
Yeah.
it someday, but plus it artificially lowers the base for the following year. So, we need to keep that in mind. So
Yeah.
those are the two changes. I don't know if you want to approve revenues or not now. We can do that.
I don't know if you can because we don't have a full, I don't know
Right.
if you can because we're gonna revisit
Oh,
one of
yeah,
the
the
departments,
police.
so we gotta
Yeah,
hold off
That's
on
right.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Okay.
So I guess we could
So that's the
up
good
up
news. though.
the surplus, the general fund transfer rate to 150. Did we do that before, or did we have?
Isn't it
100?
already at 150?
We had
Yeah,
150 and we'd bring it up to 200.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve that as 200,000.
Second.
Seconds, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Mark, are you? Yep, he's got his hand up. All right.
So
That might be from last time, but he's still got his.
that-
I still would like to have that $1,000 back from the police
Oh,
department.
he's to be
that
sore.
whittles down the amount we're going to need from property tax. So
Okay.
we'll hopefully keep going in the same direction.
Yep. All right. Is that?
That's it.
It? We get a few minutes to get our paperwork straightened out here.
Yeah, and I have-
Yeah.
I have copies.
No, now we're
of the
going into
budget.
the regular boards. Oh, we're done with this one, yes.
We're done with budget. Just give us a minute here.
For the public hearing, I've got copies for anyone that comes in. I've got copies of the